Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to look at some God of War. Like I said to you in the last video, I haven't been posting as regularly because I actually started a new job, so this is kind of like a hobby for me anyway, but I'm now going to be spending a lot more time doing the job than being able to post content, so stay tuned. I'm still going to be posting, but maybe it's not as regularly as normal. But today we're going to look at some God of War. As you can see, we're going to go straight into it. So this is God of War 1 on the PS2 emulator. Hitting a solid 60, I mean, to no surprise. It's a harder game to run on the PS2 emulator, but the Steam Deck, obviously being the beast that it is, doesn't have any problems. Only thing I would really say is that it just requires a lot of wattage, especially in some of the harder to run sections here, especially when you're like doing a boss fight, and just a lot of effects going on screen, which is pretty much all the time in God of War. If I'm not focusing my camera, there we go. But yeah, it's pretty much all the time in God of War, so just keep that in mind. You probably will be hitting the 20s every now and again with a wattage, which is not ideal for battery life. Kind of wanted to play some USA ROMs, so they run at 60 Hz. Or you could just try the PAL ROM. They may run a little bit better, but I can't really test that at the moment because, as you can see, I'm pretty much using USA ROMs. They run a lot smoother for me. I feel the latency is not as bad as PAL ROMs. But yeah, as you can see, God of War 1, awesome game. Works very smoothly. I'm losing my balance a little bit on this beam. But yeah, works very smoothly. Only thing I'd like complain about is the wattage it's using at the minute. As you can see, it's hovering around 19, which is pretty high. It's kind of the amount you'd expect from a top tier PC game. So keep that in mind. If you're wanting to play God of War, it's going to use a lot of wattage, just purely because of the nature of the game. It must be the game engine and just the physics itself. Everything to do with that. It just uses a lot of wattage. We could try and limit the watt, but then you're going to get stuttering and probably latency problems. At the minute, it feels very responsive. If I could play this like plugged into a charger, it'd make it a lot easier to play. But yeah, as you can see, we're like hitting 21 watt here. So it's a little bit unfortunate that we can't run it at a lower wattage. Like I was playing Metal Gear Solid 3 at around like 11 watt at a time. So it's a bit of a shame to see this one doesn't run at a lower wattage. But some games don't, and that's the problem you're going to have. So you've just got to make do with what you've got, and then just plug your charger in. If you can't really play it off charge, you're going to probably be looking at around just under 2 hours battery life on a full charge. Probably just over 2 hours battery life, to be fair, so not terrible. But for a PS2 game, you kind of hope it's a little bit better than that. But how good does it look for a PS2 game from like 15 years ago? Probably way more than 15 years ago, probably like 18 years ago, something like that. It does look really good. You got to like press these in as fast as you can. Not a massive God of War buff on as far as the older games goes. More of like a more recent God of War fan. So obviously I've played the newest one. Everyone's played that one. It's the one like one of the most hyped up games ever. Although I will say, like I did say before in like a video about a month ago now, definitely prefer Red Dead Redemption 2. Should have won Game of the Year over God of War, but whatever. It is what it is. God of War is amazing though. Definitely one of the best games. I don't even know where the hell I'm going. Where am I going? Am I being blind? Am I supposed to be killing that one flying thing? I think I'm supposed to be killing that one flying thing, but it's just not dropping near me. My game bugged? I don't think so. It's like level design's not really pointing me anywhere. I don't really know where to go. Unless it's, yeah, it was weird. It was like waiting to trigger that boss fight or something. But yeah, love God of War boss fights. There's some amazing fights in the new game. Like I said, I haven't really played God of War 1. I've played Ghost of Sparta on the PSP, which we'll play later. and I've also played a little bit of Chains of the Olympus, of Olympus, but yeah, I've played a bit of God of War 2 as well, but like I say, I'm a bit of a recent God of War fan, so jumping back into these older ones is pretty fun. I definitely like the direction they took there with the Norse mythology side of stuff on the new game. Definitely a bit more of a fan of Norse mythology than I am of than Greek mythology, but still sick nevertheless. Big fan of Hades though, so that kind of brought me back into Greek mythology. Bloody hell, I got tapped that a lot of times. We shall kill this boss and jump into God of War 2, which I assume runs pretty well also. I'm hoping it's maybe a little bit more optimised for the PS2 emulator, but we'll find out. But as you can see, no problems with this, just a high wattage to run the game at. You eventually kill this thing. Could have dodged that. Just doing the same attack over and over again. And obviously you can set up the quick save load state stuff as well. So if you want to set that up, it's pretty simple with the PS2 emulator. You can map the hotkeys to your back pads, and you can literally just quickly load in and out every time you want to do it. I've shown that off in multiple PS2 emulating videos, so if you want to see that in action, you know, go back and have a look at my other PS2 videos. But definitely makes playing PS2 a lot more fun for games that don't really have a lot of saving options available in it. Definitely a lot of JRPGs, you'll have a great time. Dragon Quest 8 especially. But yeah, that's God of War 1. Let's jump into God of War 2.
So here we are in God of War 2. As you can see, this one's a little harder to run. This one's also set at 60 FPS because of the American file we had to use instead of the PAL one. I think it's probably better to use PAL for this one. I only got American because God of War 1 works so well, but after playing that and realising that this one actually doesn't run at a full 60 locked in a few of these starting sections, I'm definitely going to go back and grab the PAL ROM. Because God of War seems to be such a massive file size, considering it's just a PS2 game. I say massive, it's like 8 gigabytes, but still a big file size for a PS2 game. I decided to just leave it for now. And yeah, it's not like it doesn't hit 60, it just sometimes goes down to around 50 in like the heavier areas where there's a lot of stuff going on. You can see that in the top left there. But yeah, it does run really well. Again, like God of War 1, the wattage required is pretty high for a PS2 game. You're looking at around like 21 watt plus. Haven't really seen it go down past like 18, so battery life isn't going to be amazing for this one, sadly. But you know, if you're playing God of War, if you want to play God of War in order, obviously you're going to have to play 1 and 2. And obviously 1 and 2 are amazing games, so definitely give them a go if you've never played them before. Maybe if you've only played the more recent one, definitely give 1 and 2 a go. You're going to have some amazing boss fights from like the Greek era of mythology instead of like the Norse mythology, which is obviously the new game is based around. Yeah, as you can see, literally playing pretty smoothly now. The start, like I said, was like 50. So you can see it's like kind of like locked itself to 60, but at the expense of the TDP, which is like TDP wattage is like at 21 at the minute. So you're going to be looking at like just over 2 hours if you're at 100%. But like I mentioned before, if you're playing it at home, just plug it in, and yeah, it's not going to damage your battery life. Just keep it plugged in. What I will say is, though, we're going to be looking at some PSP games after, but some of the PSP games obviously run really well. I've already shown them off in some of the PSP example videos, but the PS3 games, I was going to try them until I saw a fellow YouTuber, PCGamingItaly.it. He tried them out about 2 months ago now, but around when the Steam Deck was finally getting shipped, and the performance is pretty terrible, like unplayable. I don't know if there's been any major breakthroughs on the performance as of when that video came out, but I'm pretty sure it's still the same performance-wise. You're looking at like 10 FPS on God of War 3, which is clearly not playable. So I wouldn't recommend trying that out. Give it a go, maybe you can get it running a little bit better, but I can't see you being able to play it full speed. So you're going to have to deal with that and not be able to play God of War 3 on the device, which is a little bit of a shame. I know God of War, I think there's a God of War Ascension as well. I've never played it before, but it's like a spin-off game to the God of War series. I'm pretty sure that doesn't run well either. So I'm sure PS3 is pretty much a no-go when it comes to God of War. So I'd probably just stick with the first 2 games on the PS2. And then if you go straight to PSP, them 2 games work amazingly well. You got Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta. And then you've got the more modern game, I guess. I guess that's all of them that you can play. Take out the PS3, which is God of War 3, which is also an amazing game in itself, but obviously not playable. Because unless you want to play it at 10 FPS, I guess one of you crazy guys might be able to play it at 10 FPS, but I'd get a headache within like the first 2 minutes of trying to play it at 10 FPS. Definitely unplayable. Also, the audio is terrible as well, as you can guess. Definitely headache-inducing audio. But yeah, then you've got the PC version, which I'm not going to show off in today's video because I kind of want to put it into one of my recent gaming videos. Plus, I don't fully own it on Steam at the minute, so it's definitely something I'll be looking at in the future. But as far as this video goes, I just wanted to show off the classic God of War games, and then we shall show off the more recent God of War game in like a recent video, a recent gameplay section. So like when I show off my more recent titles, because it's like a AAA game, so I kind of like to group them together. And like I say, plus I don't own it yet, so I'm going to have to get my way and buy it. I do own it on PS5, but obviously that isn't going to help us because we can't play on the Steam Deck unless we stream it to the deck, which is possible, to be fair. There is a PS5/4 streamer to the Steam Deck. Pretty easy to set up through Flatpak as well, so if you ever wanted to stream your PS5, let me know in the comments. I could show you a tutorial on that. And yeah, like I said, it's pretty simple. A little similar to setting up Moonlight and stuff like that, but it just requires its own app, which is called something like Kaki, something along them lines. Like that isn't right, but it sounds similar to something like that. But yeah, if you want me to do a tutorial, let me know. As you can see, God of War Chains of Olympus here. Running at full speed, as you'd expect. This is a PSP game, so running on the PPSSPP emulator. Also going to be a lot easier on your device here. Only locking up at around 9 watt, maybe hitting a little bit of 10 watt depending on what's going on. But yeah, this is going to net you around, well, as you can see in the estimate there, about 5 hours of battery life, which is solid for a PSP game. And don't get me wrong, these PSP games are excellent. It's amongst some of the best God of War PSP games by far. Amongst some of the best PSP games by far, not just God of War. But yeah, this is Chains of Olympus, and then there is Ghost of Sparta, which we'll show after. Ghost of Sparta I actually bought for my PSP Go back in the day. I think somewhere on my channel I did a PSP Go unboxing, or I'll show the games on my PSP Go. You can see Ghost of Sparta on there, but that was a long time ago. That must have been around 12 years ago now, probably even earlier than that, yeah. Had my channel quite a while. I've just privated a lot of them old videos for obvious reasons. But yeah, like I say, PPSSPP emulator is never normally that intensive on the system. Jumping up to around 10 now, but you're still going to get an amazing battery life with that. Plus the game is running at like 3 times native resolution, so that looks really sharp in itself. Way better than it would look on a regular PSP. Just trying to take my time here with the dodging mechanics. This is a little different on the PSP version. I think you've got to hold the left and right bumper, and then you've got to move the analog stick, and that enables you to dodge on this one. Whereas obviously on the PS2, you have like 2 analog sticks. One of them you can just use to dodge anyway. So a little bit of a different control scheme, but still translates really well over to portable gaming. God of War, I find. It follows the same formula, you know, you're playing as Kratos and you're fighting gods, but manages to keep it fresh. You know, you got new weapons to try out, different areas to explore, you know, the good stuff. It's a very hack and slashy style of game, but if you've never played it and you're into like your gods mythology, 100% recommend it. If you've played Hades recently and you're really liking learning about all the gods and stuff, definitely give this a go, because it'll give you the chance to kill them. And it is really fun. It definitely is amazing. Kratos is a legendary character in PlayStation's history. So if you want to experience his first ever games, definitely have a look at these. The new one is probably one of the better games I've played in the most recent years. But I'm going to save that for another video. It does run amazingly well on the Steam Deck though. And the last game is Ghost of Sparta. This one came out a bit later than Chains of Olympus, so you'd expect it to be a little bit more demanding, but like I said, the PSP emulator is extremely optimised for these kind of games, so you're looking at like a solid 60. Pretty much extremely fluid. Like, you can check the frame time graph there. It's not really moving that much. Little few stutters here and now, but definitely nothing to hinder the gameplay at all. Found it to be a massively smooth experience. I might actually finish this game, because did start on my PSP Go back in the day, but like I was pretty young back then, so I was just flicking between different games. I mean, I'd do the same thing now on my Steam Deck, so to be fair, I probably won't get around to finishing this, but the incentive is there to do it at some point. I remember when I first set up my PSP Go's account, they gave me a really cool God of War Ghost of Sparta icon. I was using that for the last 8 years. I finally updated it like a couple of years ago when I played Death Stranding, which also runs surprisingly amazing on the deck. I'm just thinking, God of War, I haven't tried it on the deck, but I've seen people play it on the deck on YouTube anyway, but I wonder if like FSR works more now, because Steam have added more like resolutions to the game, so maybe we could have a look at FSR in God of War as well. So that's kind of why I want to leave it for a separate video. We're gonna tackle the classics in today's video, and we'll jump into the main game in a AAA title video, which I'll have planned for, I don't know, I think in like a couple of days time. Like I say, it's tricky for me to do videos at the moment because of my new work schedule, so I'm going to try and get like maybe 3 videos out in a week. It's not as many as I was doing, but it's still content for the channel, which is good either way. So like I keep saying as well, I'm going to finish up on my review for the Amber Knit product as well soon. Almost finished Emerald on it, and it's been very solid. I've been using save states, and just generally the device itself, I haven't actually changed the firmware on it. I've just found that it worked straight out of the box. Had to take some of the ROMs off that they'd added because of the file naming system that they'd used, but apart from that, I'm pretty satisfied with the device. I'm obviously not going to tell you exactly how I feel until I do a major review on it, but yeah, it's been a really solid device. The killer feature on it is the OLED screen though, for sure, so I'm going to be showing that off in different lights, but yeah, it does actually suffer from the same kind of problem as the OLED screens. I don't know if you've seen an OLED PS Vita screen in a pitch black. It has like these green splotches, which you can just see very slightly in pitch darkness. You can see like this green tinge coming through the screen, and that must be something to do with like the cheaper OLED panels. But yeah, like I say, you can't really see it that much, only if you really focus on it. But other than that, the screen has been amazing for me, and yeah, just a solid device in general. So I'm definitely going to follow up on a review soon. But as you can see, your Ghost of Sparta runs like a dream. Had no issues with it at all. Great wattage as well. So yeah, if you really want to finish the game, definitely pick it up on the Steam Deck. Get yourself a nice little God of War collection. I'm going to finish the video off by showing some of PC gaming Italy's gameplay on Ascension, God of War 3. So you'll be able to see that it's not exactly the most ideal game to play. So if you want to skip to the end of the video, or yeah, feel free to keep watching. But I'll catch you guys in the next video, and yeah, thanks for watching. See you soon.